Well, hello and welcome back to Waffle-Free Storytelling. It's Tina Konstant here. And nothing has changed. All of the waffle is right at the end, which means we get to jump right into this week's story, which is called Because You Were Born. And it's a story about Banya. Now, Banya was born last in a long line of children. Her siblings were all grown up and growing. They were smart and busy and useful. But Banya, no matter what she did, she just seemed to be in the way. "Banya," they would say, "get out of the way. We've got things to do. Go and play somewhere else." But Banya wasn't playing. She was trying to help, but her siblings were always doing things that Banya couldn't help with. Sometimes they would let her join in, but she could see the practiced patience on their faces as she lifted just one stone instead of 10. But every morning, Banya would wake up early, look out over the grass plains to the place where the sun rose, and would promise that somehow she would make a difference. Somehow she would do something that no one else could. Somehow she would be useful in the world. But that day never seemed to come. Everything Banya did always went just a little bit wrong. No matter how hard she tried or what she did, she always got stuck and had to be saved. Until the day she climbed into the well. On that day, a hammer her father loved most fell to the bottom of that dry pit, and despite his instructions to leave it alone, Banya was determined to prove herself and go get it. And so she scaled the wall. She leapt into the bucket. She closed her eyes, and she only opened them when she landed in the dust and the rocks below. She found the hammer. But when she tried to get out, she soon realized that she was trapped. Her neighbors cried out and shouted and wailed for someone to save her, but her siblings, on her mother's instruction, stood back and waited and watched. No matter how Banya struggled or how long she was stuck, no one was allowed to step in and save her. "She will either learn that she can or learn that she can't," is what her mother said, making dinner, not even glancing out the kitchen window. Only her grandfather, a gentle, curious man, snuck up to the well and played his drum. When Banya heard him, she knew she wasn't alone, and she kept on searching and stretching and climbing until she found her way. It took a whole day and a whole night to get out of that well, and in the end, the solution had been quite simple. She lifted stones out of the bottom until she came to the underground river that ran beneath it. The water filled the well, and Banya swam to the surface using the water like a ladder. Well, all Banya's mother did was smile, tell her to go and dry off, and put breakfast on the table. Banya's determination to be useful didn't stop there, and neither did her trouble. When she got stuck in a cave with a pack of wild dogs, it took 2 days for her to find her way out. But when she did, those dogs were at her heels and the puppies were playing around her feet. When she got stuck in a marsh to the south of the village, it was 3 days before she was able to build a path out of rocks and leaves and walk out. After a while, people in the village got used to Banya getting into trouble and soon stopped noticing where she was and wondering if she was all right. She will either learn that she can or learn that she can't, is what they all said now. And for a while Banya was fine with this. But she wasn't a fool. She knew that letting her explore on her own was just the thing people did so that she wasn't in the way. Her siblings were still ahead of her. They were still the ones doing the useful things. She was still the one getting stuck. Watching them all band together, she would often sit on the steps of their home feeling small, and sometimes in her lowest moments, feeling a little bit invisible. Hugging her grandfather and talking through thick, heavy tears, she would say, "I don't even know why I was born." And her grandfather would soothe her and tell her stories about the place far, far away where the sun rose each day. "It's the place where hope comes from," he would say, "where courage is formed. The place where the sun rises is where warriors are made." So it was with these stories in her heart that Banya woke up early one cold, wet morning and decided that she needed to travel to this place to find hope, to find courage, and to become a great warrior. If she could find the place where the sun came up, she would become the kind of person her people would find useful. So, packing what food she could carry, Banya wrapped herself in a thick blanket and slipped out of the village. She travelled towards the sun in the mornings and away from it in the afternoon. Then at night she slept under the stars and waited until dawn. Then she would follow the sun again until it was on her back, chasing her until it sank again at night. "I will find the place where the sun comes up," she said every day, "if it's the last thing I do." Banya travelled every day for a year, and every day she was certain she was getting close. To make sure she could find her way home, she planted seeds from the fruit she ate, knowing that she could follow the sprouts back any time she needed. After 2 years, though, she was no closer to the place where the sun rose. Every day she thought of quitting, and if it wasn't for the beating wings of the birds that reminded her of her grandfather's drum, she would have. After 3 years, though, broken-hearted and exhausted, feeling more alone, tiny and insignificant than ever, she decided it was time to go home. With her head bowed and her feet cracked and bleeding from walking on such hard ground for so long, she returned to her village. She arrived before dawn, hoping to sneak into her room and hide under the covers before anyone else was up. But she didn't get the chance. As soon as she stepped into the village, she heard the beating of her grandfather's drum as if it hadn't stopped even once since the day she left. "Banya is home!" the old man called out. Then her siblings ran out of the house. "Banya is home!" they shouted. Then her neighbors and her friends all came out of their homes. "It's Banya! She's home!" And with laughter filling the air, her mother came out of the kitchen, dried her hands and smiled. "My Banya," she said, "is home." And she lifted her smallest child onto her shoulders. From there, Banya looked out over the plains around her village and saw that they were full and green and lush, all fed from the well that she had filled. She noticed that the herds of sheep and cows were all fat and safe, protected by the dogs who had called this place home. Then she noticed the valleys and the hillsides thick with apples and oranges, mangoes and avocados, all from the seeds that she had planted as she had walked. Then, finally, with the rays bright and warm, piercing and beautiful, blooming in golds and reds and yellows and blue, the sun rose over the mountain, spread across the valley and lit up Banya's face, soothing her skin and filling her heart. Her mother hugged her tight, pointed to the life and the joy and the happiness around her, and she said this, "My beautiful child, is all because you were born." That's it. There you go, folks. Hey, sometimes we can struggle in the world and wonder what it is we're supposed to be doing here. But take a moment to consider even the tiniest thing that you do that you don't even notice could have an impact that changes the course of someone else's life. So never take anything you do or who you are for granted. What a splendid day. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drop around to www.tinakonstant.com for, oh my heavens, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Just dig around the site and enjoy. And I will see you next week for more tales from the Waffle-Free universe. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye now. Hey. Biscuits later, Jack.